Well, what we're working on today and then over the past weeks and months actually is just cleaning all the field jackets that contain the fossils that we brought in from the mosasaur we found this summer. So we have Will here. He's been doing a lot of the cleaning of emptying the field jackets, removing the extra matrix from around the bones, and from that point then I take them and I do a little bit extra cleaning and do all the measurements and all the data keeping and all that, and try and piece the bones together as best I can. We've got a substantial amount of the stuff that we took out, that we excavated this summer, we've already gone through, that's been cleaned out of the field jackets. We have a bit more to do, and we expect there's a lot more that we'll be taking out next summer, but for now, a lot of the stuff like what we see here, like a lot of the shale has a lot of, you can't tell here, but a lot of little microfossils in it, and they are as important as the large fossils in kind of putting together the overall paleo environment that these mosasaurs were living in. So we take a lot of samples like this, we'll put them under the microscope, very carefully comb through it, and from that we can extract a lot of the smaller fossil stuff. Like again, it's not visually, you can't see it, but within this is probably, there could be 100 fossils within this one small piece. And that is key to knowing the full, to have full understanding of the environment, again, that these animals were living in. And not only that, sometimes you can find little fragments of bones that might be very necessary in rebuilding the entire skeleton from this point. Well, Will here, he's very significant. He's he's done almost all of the cleaning of the field jackets. So that involves cutting off these. Basically, when we take fossils out of the field, we envelop them in a plaster jacket completely, so you have kind of the fossils in the center like the yolk of an egg, big plaster egg. We cut them open here. We usually include a lot of extra shale or matrix. We don't want just the fossil, we want everything around them. So there's a lot of debris and stuff, matrix to go through and remove before we even get to the fossils, which are probably sitting at the very bottom of this jacket. As we work from the bottom down, sort of in reverse of how we excavate them out in the field. So yeah, Will has cleaned out, well, I don't know, probably maybe more than 100 bones already that he's taken out of these jackets. And it takes a very keen eye to see all the stuff as we go. So he's been really good at finding a lot of the fossils that may have been missed otherwise. A lot of the cleaning, the fine cleaning, we'll do underneath the microscope here. We have a nice binocular microscope so we can see in 3D, and we have various tools, little air scribes, or like miniature jackhammers to remove the rock that's adhered right to the fossils. And from there, we probably add a lot of consolidants to a lot of them, which is a very thin glue that soaks right into the bone, solidifies it, and helps to preserve it from this point forward. Because once the fossils have been removed from the ground, then other factors start to break them apart. Basically, just changes in temperature and humidity. So we want to kind of control all of that, solidify the fossils as best we can, and then the painstaking process of gluing the broken ones back together. It's kind of like doing a 3D puzzle with like half the pieces missing and no picture on the box to know what you're going with. So it's just one piece after another. Does this fit? Does this fit? But a good deal of them actually do fit together, and you can build up a surprising amount of the bone, the original bone material, doing just these little bits, putting them back together. Well, you can see there's a lot of bags here, and not nearly all of them are here. But each bag we bag it up with its coordinates, where it was found, and what we think they are. There's also a lot of sorting that goes on here. We found a lot of nearly 100 fish bones of different species that were found mixed in with the skeleton of the mosasaur. We also found some Hesperornis, which is an ancient seabird. Found bones from that mixed in as well. So that all has to be sorted out. Some of the bones we find really get us scratching our heads. You've got to do a lot of research to figure out what exactly it is. There was one bone we thought for a while was part of the brain case of the mosasaur, but it turned out it was just a broken bird vertebrae, actually. Once we had it all together, we found a few more pieces as we went along, managed to get more of that bone to fit together, and realized that, well, it's a bird, not part of the mosasaur, but it's that type of thing that we're doing here. So over here, we've sort of collected the vertebrae that we have exposed. So far, we've got just under 40 of them, and it's really interesting because we have a sampling right from the tip of the tail, the terminal caudal vertebrae, which are just tiny little ones right at the tip of the tail, all the way up, right through different vertebrae throughout the body, and then we have some that would have been right behind the head here. So again, we're missing at least 2/3 of them, but we have a good range throughout the entire body. So we have enough already that's been removed here, and I kind of put them in a bit of an order here so you guys can see it. Now we can get a pretty good estimate on what the overall length of this mosasaur would be, and it'd be about the size of what's currently the largest reptile on Earth, the saltwater crocodile, about 6 meters long. This animal would have been. So that's an impressive size. It's not a world record like Bruce, but it's getting close to half the size of Bruce, which is quite impressive, really. And again, it's as big as any reptile on Earth today. So it's and it would have been a formidable animal to run into back in the day. Right now, it's less scary, but it's still pretty cool. Yeah, so we've got a lot of the vertebrae. Some of the ribs we pieced together already. This one was probably in about 6 or 8 pieces, but it went together quite nicely. In others, we still have little pieces of vertebrae to go. Starting to put together one of the flippers. We've got a few of the digits coming out here. The hardest part is the skull in general. A lot of the pieces are, again, very puzzle-like. So we have a number of pieces of skull here, a few pieces of the jaw, and we have so far 5 teeth that we've found. So here, there's one of the teeth there. Unfortunately, the teeth have fallen out of the jawbone, but we'll be able to put together a decent skull from this once we get all the pieces in. Hopefully next summer we'll find a bunch more to help add to this. The next step from here, I'm doing a lot of the cataloging. So there's that whole process of labeling, and then I've been going through and listing all the different bones and taking the measurements and everything, recording all the data, and from here we'll put it into our digital database. And then also all the people that helped us excavate this fossil in the summer, they'll get a notation on our website as well that they were part of the excavation crew of this particular mosasaur. I love going out in the field and doing the excavating and getting people out there and getting them excited about paleontology too, because everybody turns into a child when they find their first fossil. It's just exciting. Bringing kids out, bringing older kids out, people into their 80s we had last year, getting out there and digging and excavating bones is just, bringing the paleontology to the masses, really. It's a lot of fun. And just, again, finding fossils it's quite exciting, Here it looks a little bit static, but when you're out in the field and you're brushing away and all of a sudden a bone appears, that gets your heart going a little bit.